Good morning, everyone. This morning I have my AR-15 pistol built on the Spikes Tactical Honey Badger lower. I had an opportunity to pick one of those up at a gun show for what I thought was a pretty good price. I think it was sub $80. I can't remember, it was a couple years ago. So, having grown up in the Modern Warfare era, you know, I do know my firearms. I don't judge my firearms by the video games, but anyways, playing Modern Warfare, I kind of like the Honey Badger that they had in one of their series. I can't remember which one, but I figured I'd use that lower to kind of emulate that firearm. So I built a this gun is built on the Honey Badger lower. It's a 8.5-inch Noveske barrel, chambered in 300 Blackout. Kind of haven't really enjoyed that caliber. I've owned a couple of guns with that caliber, but I haven't really. Wasn't really impressed with them. One was a full-length rifle, which was cool. It was fine, but it didn't really fit my needs at the time. And I had a Ruger American Ranch in 300 Blackout, and that was fine. I liked the bolt action with it, but I don't know. I didn't really use it that much, so I kind of traded it off. And now I have this. So, as I said before, I had the opportunity to get that, so I kind of piecemealed this together. As you can see, it's nothing too fancy except for the barrel. The barrel's pretty nice, I think. The BCM KMR handguard, Magpul flip-up sights, the Vortex Spark AR red dot, just your standard charging handle, nothing fancy. This is cleared right now, so just so you guys know. Rock River Arms internal parts kits on both the upper and the lower, and the bolt was something with a special coating. I can't remember the brand. I want to say it's like an NP3 coated something or other, but I've had it for years. Actually, I was in the first AR-15 I ever built back in 2011, I guess. And I switched that one over to a piston kit, so I had to change the bolt carrier. So basically I had this bolt carrier laying around with the bolt from this kit in it. And I ended up buying a bolt to fit that, made sure it head spaced and all that stuff, and then switched that bolt back to this bolt carrier and used it in here. And if I can ever figure out what the brand was, I would highly recommend it. I'll add that if I ever find it out. But I want to say I got it from like Midwest Industries or something. Nothing. I don't think it was anything too fancy, but it's been working really well, and I like it a lot. So yeah. Rock River parts kit. It's got the Rock River two-stage match trigger that I've used in some of my high power guns. That's served really well. I haven't ever had an issue with it. A gun like this doesn't really need a match trigger, but I just really enjoy it, so that's kind of my go-to trigger. Yeah, and I guess that's about it. So, you know, I know a lot of people have their opinions about 300 Blackout. I just kind of like it. I wouldn't say it's the do-all cartridge for everything. I think it has its purpose, but I just really kind of enjoy it. I reload for it, and you know, I just like it better than, like, say, 7.62x39. I think that's probably the closest comparison. A lot of people say, oh, no, it doesn't compare at all, but it does if you shoot supersonic ammo. And then you get the people that say, well, that defeats the purpose of 300 Blackout because it was designed to be suppressed. Well, that's true. But if you're running a suppressor, it's still going to be better than, even with supersonic ammo, it's still going to be better than shooting without one. I do have a suppressor. I'll probably be shooting that today. I know it's not really what it's designed for, blah, 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 but it does make it a lot more pleasant. So I tend to run the suppressor with supersonic ammo because it does make it a lot more pleasant to shoot, and you still get the performance that 300 Blackout does have to offer. So whether that's, you know, the best thing in the world, probably not. Maybe there's other things that are better, but it's the setup that I like. You feel free to comment below and let me know what you guys think of that. So next, I'll be going to my little backyard range, and it's pretty cold out, so I think today I'll probably be shooting from my window that overlooks the range, which is kind of 90% of the reason I bought this house, actually. So I'll probably be shooting about 15 yards. Nothing too spectacular. We're going to be shooting at some ice jugs that I have. I'd like to test out some of this ammo that I got. This is the SIG Elite Performance ammunition. It's the 300 Blackout HT 120 grain. So I got that for 24 bucks, which I think is kind of expensive, but I do kind of reload for this, but nothing too fancy. But that's generally what I shoot, is like the 120 grain. I think that's probably one of the more common ones, unless you go to subsonics, then you get 200, 208 grain, 210 grain, like all sorts of crazy stuff. But typically I'm shooting something in the 120 grain category. It seems to work pretty well, and yeah, so we'll see how it works. Hopefully it works pretty well in the gun. I might just keep some of it on hand for hunting purposes or whatever, and we'll see what happens. All right, thanks. I'll see you in a minute. All right, folks, I got the camera set up, got the target set up. Be running the Honey Badger like I just talked about with my suppressor. The suppressor is a Gemtech HVT, which does all right. I probably, if I could do it over again, probably would have sprung for a little better suppressor, I guess. It's steel, so it's kind of front heavy on the gun, but it works pretty good. Like I said, we're going to be shooting the SIG Elite Performance supersonic stuff, so it's not going to be super quiet, but the suppressor should help a little bit, and we'll see what it does. Forgive, the first shots. This is a brand new sight. I haven't sighted it in yet, so we'll see. We'll see how I can do without it being sighted in. All right, well, here we go. Oh, there we go. All right, going over to the red one. Seems to be hitting a bit right. Whew. Smells like freedom. All right, so there it is. 300 Blackout in some ice. I guess I'll walk out there and we'll take a look at it. Alright, so let's look at this one first, I guess. This is the first one I shot. Seems to be pretty well intact, but just kind of pulverize that ice. I don't see any bullet fragments in here. Burr, cold. I don't see any bullet fragments in here, so I guess it went right through. That's not one, is it? No. Oh, what's that? What is that? That is a rock. Nope. So I guess it must have gone right through. Cool. Good penetrate. Yeah, you can see the exit holes in the back. So that's cool. Wait for that to quiet down. And this one just got the tops over there, and this one just opened right up and made some nice snow for us. Yeah. So there's that. Who knows, I might find some bullets in the spring, but I guess they're pretty well buried right now. Kind of pulverized that solid block of ice pretty well. So there's that. Hey guys, so as I was cleaning up from the shooting there that I just did, it occurred to me you guys might want to see this with the suppressor on it. So that's kind of what you got there. It's kind of a nice little package actually, because it gives you the full length. The length of a standard rifle. It is actually, with the suppressor on, it's 16 inches, almost exactly. It was 16 and a quarter maybe. So it does give you the length of a standard rifle, but in close quarters stuff, it's kind of nice to have such a short package with the suppressor versus like a 16-inch plus the suppressor. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go with that. But yeah, that's the Gemtech HVT. As you heard, it does a pretty good job. It actually does better than I remembered. You guys were behind a piece of glass, so you didn't have the full effect of the supersonic crack, but it was there. You can probably hear it kind of echoing a little bit in the video. Yeah, so that's it. This is the quick detach version as well. Ooh, it's still a little warm, but So that's kind of a nice feature. I do kind of like this, but direct thread to me isn't exactly that difficult. So I don't know how much of a benefit that is. You know, having, I know there's some out there now that I guess are more universal, I guess, for mounting. So that's kind of nice because you're not deadlocked into one suppressor. This one I'm pretty much deadlocked into this. Like this is the only suppressor that I can pretty much have on this. I don't even think they make the HVT anymore, and it's probably because they're heavy and not really the best. I recall it being advertised as having like almost no impact shift, but as we now know with suppressors, that's generally not the case, I guess. At least not that I've heard. I think everybody that I've ever talked to that shoots suppressed has an impact shift, so which makes sense because you're changing all the pressures and stuff. But yeah, so that's it. The HVT quick mount 7.62 on the Honey Badger. Thanks y'all for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, hit like, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll try to accommodate. I don't have a lot of stuff, but I have enough to fit most of the needs. I got handguns, rifles of different kinds, stuff like that. So if you guys want to see me shooting, I can only do the short range stuff here. I do have a 100-yard range that I can access, but let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll try to do it. Hope all's well, and stay safe, and let freedom ring.